Hey everybody, welcome to Skills Reacts. Today we got some fresh news on the UFO topic, and what we're going to be discussing is Trump's family has came out and said that there is a briefing that is supposed to happen with Donald Trump that's going to be preparing to tell the public that UFOs exist, that alien life exists. Now, this is all alleged. This is something that's coming out in the most recent news, and I want to share that with you guys. All right? Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's get into it. So what we're gonna be taking a look at right now is a clip from Newsmax on YouTube. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about.
Is true, and I'm actually being serious here. Is that there are there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
All right, former President Barack Obama, he would know more.
That was Obama, bro. Obama's finally admitting. All right, now we all knew there was something in the sky that we didn't know what the they were. You know what I'm talking about?
It's been 75 years since a mysterious incident occurred in Roswell, New Mexico, prompting reports of an alien spacecraft crash landing, later refuted to be a weather balloon.
Well, that ain't a cow feeder.
And I'm guessing it's not a weather balloon either.
Evening, folks. Step back from the object, please. What you see here is classified equipment, an experimental weather balloon.
Uh-huh. With neon racing stripes and a warp core?
For those just tuning in, the Air Force has assured us this enormous smoky...
Now, all of the Roswell stuff, they might come out and say that it really happened, even though we already know what happened. But me being from New Mexico, this really hits home.
But only now are we having a real honest conversation about these strange encounters, and there have been a number of these. U.S. intelligence agencies are expected to deliver a report on UFOs to Congress, prompting even those on Capitol Hill to start looking more closely at these findings.
The truth about
Look at
UFOs.
that guy. You think they look like that? Jeremy Corbell is the editor of Extraordinary Beliefs, as well as an artist
Jeremy
and
Corbell
investigative
works with George Knapp,
filmmaker exploring the real-world mysteries behind UFO encounters. Jeremy, welcome to you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, this is what I want to see.
So the Pentagon is releasing this report later this month, at some point before the end of the month, and there's only, what, 15 days left. What do you expect we're going to find out?
Well, I know what we're going to find out. It's actually really important. This is a historic time.
Okay.
We now know, our government has told you, UFOs are real. They are unidentified flying objects.
Yep.
They fly with impunity through our airspace. They outmaneuver, outperform our greatest warships and warcraft. You know, the big question is who's operating these unidentified flying objects and what is their intent? The important thing coming out in the report, and there was a leak in the New York Times. They're already talking about this. They're going to remove
you don't know
the
intent,
option
that's
of
a
it
threat.
being some secret U.S. government project. So that removes U.S. technology. It leaves us with some uncomfortable truths that these are not ours. Now, soon we're going to know that it's not Russian, it's not Chinese, it's not any foreign nation that is technologically developed as we know it. So then we have to start looking at more exotic explanations to truly understand who is piloting these UFOs.
And you actually gave us some videos of these encounters, which you've obtained and released, and we're going to go through just a few of them here, and you can explain to us.
Now, if you don't know what's in your airspace, that's a really big danger. That's a danger to the public, a danger to the country, a danger to pilots that are also flying. It's a really big threat to national security. And the fact that we don't know intent automatically makes them a threat. Crazy.
Bruh.
What exactly we're seeing. Let's pull up the first one here. This is, I guess, a spherical, or I'm sorry, this is a radar. This is the radar data video, is what we're calling it here, from the USS Omaha. Tell us what this is.
Right. So this is the first time in modern history where we have radar contacts. I was able to obtain and provide to the American public radar footage of UFOs swarming our Navy warships. But I didn't just release radar data. This correlates with the other videos I released from the same incident in 2019, such as this video, where
They were
you're seeing
swarming
a
the ship?
object in FLIR, which is a thermal camera on the warship, and you see this thing go into the water. Now, no tail, no wings, no control surfaces, no modern propulsion as we know it. This is a spherical UFO that descends into the water without destruction.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, that's the one that was crazy to me because, like you said, there's no wings and there's no propulsion. How the hell is it moving? I mean, I find it hard to believe that anybody in this world, on this planet, has done a better job of figuring out how to move things and fly things than we have. And we have no explanation. There's one more here, and this
That
is
is
the pyramid-shaped
crazy,
UFO
bro.
we want to get to real quick.
I didn't know they had a radar footage of a whole swarm of UFOs swarming a ship, a US ship. That is crazy. This guy has definitely released a lot of footage that is coming out to the public. So shout out to Corbell. Let's get
Go ahead
into
and
it.
take us through this one.
Yeah, so this was the first one that I released with my mentor in journalism, George Knapp. This is film from the USS Russell. It was being swarmed from pyramid-shaped foes that were trailing along and going with our warship.
There's
Now,
multiple.
understand,
There's
all
like
of
3
these
of them
events
right
were
there. Did you
happening at
guys
the
see
same
that?
time. We're talking upwards
There
of
was some
50
over here.
to 100 unidentified
Hold on, let's
contacts
look
were,
at that again.
going with our warship.
Look at
Now,
that.
understand, all of these events were
Look at
happening
see
at the
there's
same
other
time.
ones? There's like 2. 1, 2, and there was like 3. There was another one over here. Let's check that out again. Watch, look.
Snap. This is film from the USS Russell. It was being
You can see
swarmed
one,
from pyramid.
but look, you can see one right there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. Look, there's 4 of them, and that who knows? There might be one up here, but can't see.
UFOs
Definitely
that were
those 2 though.
trailing
There's
along
definitely
and
3 in
going with
plain
our
view.
warship. Now understand, all of these events were happening at the same time. We're talking upwards of 50 to 100 unidentified contacts that were, again, swarming our Navy warships with impunity.
What?
And this is something about UFOs, is that they can traverse out.
Nobody knew about this, and guaranteed didn't go on no dang newscast. They were swarming our Navy warships. Can you believe this shit? Why didn't this hit the news? What's going on? God dang, bruh.
Our most restricted airspace unimpeded. They can just go wherever they want. And so this is kind of the problem, or at least this is something that we need to look into from a national defense standpoint. But look, here is the headline. The United States military, the pilots, the sensor data, the corroborative sensor data, it's all showing you UFOs are real. They're flying. Who is operating these? What is the intent? We need to start asking the hard questions and eradicating the stigma associated with these, because they're right in front of your eyes.
That's true. And you know what? All the overclassification of the UFO topic is really hindering our chances to move forward in technology. It really is. I don't think we are able to advance in technology as fast as other countries that don't keep classifying things, overclassifying certain incidences, trying to cover this lie that we're all alone. Right? When we have proof and evidence after evidence that shows the contrary. And we can't just have one group knowing everything and the whole other world not knowing. That's just not right. We as humanity know if there's other sentient beings out there, which most of us know, but it really needs to occur, hindering our chance to advance as a society, as a human race. All this overclassification is literally blocking us from advancing scientifically. This one we got Christina Gomez. I love Christina Gomez, bro. I like to watch all her stuff. All right, here we go. And this is more on the allegations of what Trump is planning to do.
3 stories are breaking in the UFO space right now, and they're all connected. Trump's own family is saying the president has prepared a speech about UFOs and is waiting for the right moment to deliver it. A sitting congressman just posted a video on his own YouTube channel confirming he is actively trying to get access to locations that might have crashed materials or even UFOs so large that a building had to be constructed around it. And just days ago, 2 U.S. Air Force fighter jets scrambled before dawn over California after a commercial cargo pilot reported something glowing and dimming in the sky. all of this is happening at the same time that former President Barack Obama mentioned that aliens are real. As
Coincidence,
you can
huh?
tell, a lot's going on right now. As always, I'm here to report the information without bias, and you can decide what to believe. You can find this
My question is, why are they doing it now? Why are they trying to drop this on us now, trying to get us to focus on this? It's just weird timing because now that the United States is about to be at war, there's all kinds of crazy things going on within our city domestically, I mean, within our country domestically, and there's a lot of things going on with our military, right? So it seems like they're trying to drop this on us as a big distraction. As you guys should already know that they are really always trying to distract us from what's really going on behind the scenes. All right. As now we are about to go to war with Iran because we do everything that Israel says. And I think this big distraction has a lot, or if not a lot, somewhat to do with what's going on in the back. Right? Let's see what Christina Gomez has to go. If you guys haven't subscribed to her channel, make sure you guys to Christina Gomez. She's a great reporter, and I love her UFO news.
Trump, daughter-in-law of President Trump, speaking on the Pod Force One podcast. When asked whether the president is about to
That's
make
what
an
it was.
announcement about UFOs, she mentioned something very interesting. And by the way,
I was wondering who it came from.
this is the same podcast that asked United States Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance about UFOs.
We've kind of asked my father-in-law about this because we're like, well, what do you know? Because
Yeah.
Miranda, we all want to know about the UFOs, or we all want to know what's going on. And he played a little coy with us. And so that, of course, led us to believe, Eric and I were like, oh my gosh, if he won't even like fully tell us, maybe there's more to it. And then I have just heard kind of around that I think
Ooh.
he's actually said, I think my father-in-law's actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's gonna break out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak.
And when she said that her and her husband Eric
Ooh.
asked the president directly about what he knows about UFOs, she says he played coy, acting a little shy on the topic. And she says that response alone made them think there is more to this. Because in her words, he's usually
Damn,
very
that's his
open and frank
daughter-in-law.
about everything unless it involves high national security. So, she was then asked directly whether the president acts as if there's going to be a major announcement or just a casual observation, and her answer was pretty measured but clear enough.
It, knowing him as well as I do, the way he says things, they make a difference sometimes, and he's been a little different about this one. So it makes me personally think that there's something that he knows that the rest of us don't know. And so I'll let people determine for themselves whatever that means. But yeah, it makes me think there's more to come.
And she's describing a behavioral
Wow.
shift in someone she knows very well on a very specific subject and drawing a conclusion from that. Sources within the Trump administration have also reportedly indicated the White House may move toward some form of public disclosure as early as July of this year. Now, that has not been publicly confirmed, but the Laura Trump comments are now on record. But then let's move on.
Wow. So that's coming directly from his daughter-in-law, which says that she believes that Trump has some type of speech ready to go for when it's the right time. Basically about extraterrestrial life. So that's the big news. So let's see what happens.
Over to what happened in California just a few days ago. According to the War Zone, on February 15th at around 4:30 in the morning, two Air Force F-16 fighter jets launched from a base in Riverside, California,
Mhm.
after an unidentified object was spotted moving over
What?
Reno, Nevada. Air traffic
They sent jets
controllers at
after it.
Oakland Center, which manages flight traffic across the Northern California region, couldn't pick it up on radar, but kept getting getting reports that something was out there, and they did the only thing that they could. They started asking pilots already flying in the area if they could see anything. A UPS cargo plane flying nearby responded and reported seeing something glowing and dimming over Sacramento. Other pilots confirmed it, and the F-16s were refueled midair and sent towards that location. After about 2 hours of searching, the jets were called back. Then a second object was reported. Then the objects were sent back out, and one of the pilots visibly identified what he found of the second pass and described it on air traffic control
No
audio as a
way.
semi-reflective balloon with a line hanging down and a small object attached partway down that line. No propulsion, no equipment visible. NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is the joint U.S. and Canadian observation that monitors and protects North American airspace, officially
No freaking
confirmed
way.
that evening that both objects were weather balloons posing no threat.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
official story. Now, here is why 2 fighter jets launched before sunrise to chase what turns out to be just balloons. That seems kind of pointless. Well,
Right?
3 years ago, a Chinese surveillance balloon flew across the entire U.S. undetected for days before the government shot it down off the coast of South Carolina. But if you remember, 3 objects were seen during February of 2023, and
Yep.
only one had been labeled as a spy balloon. That incident revealed, according to NORAD, that radar systems had been quietly filtering out slow-moving high-altitude objects for years to avoid overwhelming controllers with data. After that incident, those filters were changed, and the result is that more objects are now being detected and more scrambles are happening. According to the most
Wow.
recent data from AARO, the Pentagon office responsible for tracking and investigating UFO reports across all military branches, balloons accounted for 52.1% of all UFO reports where a final identification was made. More than half of everything reported as unidentified turned out to be balloons. Does that make any sense to you? Our best technology today cannot identify a balloon. We've been using the balloon excuse since at least
Yeah.
1947.
I was just gonna say that, bro. That's what they said what happened at Roswell. That's their freaking excuse, their playbook since the fucking 40s and 30s, bro. Come on, man. We're not that stupid anymore. You know what I mean? We've learned a little bit in the last few decades. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. You're sending multiple jets out 2, 3 times for hours for balloons? Come on, bro. And how is a balloon gonna all of a sudden disappear? You said, okay, it was up there, and then they sent him up there and nobody could find it, and then all of a sudden there's another one up there, and then nobody could find it. What, you think a balloon just gets up and walks away, or what? You think a balloon just says, okay, I'm not gonna be here no more, I'm gonna turn off and just disappears? That's not a balloon, bro. Come on. And when the pilot seen it, the UPS pilot, he said that he's seen a light dimming and getting brighter, dimming, getting brighter. Balloons don't do that. Balloons do not do that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this story. I will catch you guys on the next one. This is Skills Reacts, and stay alert, stay alive. Peace.